Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm MJ and this is Zebra Not Horse. This is my channel to just talk about my journey of being late diagnosed on the autistic spectrum and just kind of share my thoughts as I learn things on my new journey. So if you are new here, I'm really glad that you've tuned into this video and I hope that you'll stick around. And if you have been here before, I really appreciate you returning. So I'm not like a massive content creator. Like I'm not your typical YouTuber person. I'm not here to make sure I get a video out every week. I mean, when I first started this journey, I really had high expectations that I would achieve that. But I've come to realize that this is just not who I am. Life gets very busy and I have to have a lot of structure in place in order to record a video. So it's not always easy for me. Yeah, thank you for being here and just listening to me apparently waffle. So today I would like to talk about the topic of being safe. As an autistic person, we use this word safe, which might come across as a bit of an odd one to neurotypical people. I like safe places, I like safe people, I like safe foods. So let's kind of go into each of them and what I mean. I'll talk about my perspective and hopefully it's a little bit relatable to some people. And if you can add some more education to what I'm saying, then please write a comment. So let's start with feeling safe, being in a safe place. So for me, my safe place is my home. As a teenager, I remember my home not being a safe place. My home life was quite dangerous and scary, and I needed to escape that. I would walk out my house and walk down the road to where there was a bridge, a road bridge, and I would go under the bridge and sit by the water. It wasn't exactly safe. I mean, there was graffiti all over the walls and there was rubbish lying on the ground, so it clearly was an area used by other people. But it was my safe place. And usually, actually, all the time I turned up, there was no one else there. So I felt pretty safe. And I just prayed that God would keep me safe while I was in that space because I needed that space. My home life was a wreck and I didn't really have other people that I could turn to. Anyway, I realised quite early on that being safe was quite an important part of life. And people take that for granted. But if you haven't got a safe environment to live in, then that means the rest of the world can seem like a really scary place. My safe place was a haven. It was peaceful. It was gentle. It was nice noises. You know, it was like the water and sometimes I'd hear birds. I would hear the overflow of traffic going above my head, but that didn't seem to bother me because I was tuning into just the peace and quiet. As an adult, I have made my home my safe place because when you grow up in an environment that's not safe, a home life as an adult is super important to feel safe. So I live in an area that's not necessarily the safest area to live in, but my current neighbourhood is extremely safe. It's a little kind of suburb area and all my neighbours are absolutely incredibly lovely. So I do feel safe here, but that doesn't matter what goes on outside the world. Basically inside the walls, that's where it needs to be safe for me. So a safe place for an autistic person is a place where they can thrive. They can take off the mask that they wear daily outside, that they can really embrace who they are and shine. Autistic people need a safe place where they can regulate their bodies and their minds and feel safe, where they can break away from sensors and anxieties when they are feeling dysregulated in this world. It's a place that allows them to decompress, to be themselves without interference and without judgment. I like that. I had to write it down and read it out because sometimes I forget words, but these words are really important. It's a place where there is no interference or judgment, where anxiety doesn't need to realm, where sensors have no place. Yes, it's a place for me to help regulate my mind and my body and just everything that's going on in crazy land around me. We all need a place that we can feel that we can regulate. And regulating, for me, is a place where I can zone out in, a place that's quiet, a place that's not overstimulated with sensory input. So yeah, safe places, very important, especially for those who have trauma in the past. And trauma, unfortunately, affects many of us on the autistic spectrum. Next, we have safe foods. Okay, I feel a little bit uncomfortable with the phrase safe foods because it's not like there's foods that are unsafe. I mean, obviously there are, like you can eat uncooked meat and like get ill. That would be unsafe. But I prefer the phrase like same foods. But I call it safe foods just because it fits into the category of making me feel regulated. So my same foods usually consist of dryness. So I love cereal, I love crackers, I love biscuits, I love crisps. I love anything that's like a dry substance. For me, when I'm eating something that's crunchy and got texture, somehow the sensation of that helps to soothe my body. It helps my body to feel more grounded. I can eat anything. I've not got ARFID or select food types or, things that other people are really struggling with. I am really fortunate that I can eat pretty much anything. And I like a lot of taste. But I can completely tap into the understanding of safe foods and certain foods that have the same reliability every time you eat them. Their taste doesn't change, their texture doesn't change. They're so reliable for what they are. And that's understandable why I like the dry foods. Certain cereal will always taste the same. Fruit is a bit of a hit and miss with me. I love fruit, but fruit, you can eat an apple one day and the same type of apple the next day and taste completely different. Grapes, sometimes they can be sweet and sour. Strawberries, sometimes they can be so juicy and sometimes they can be tasteless. So fruit is a really interesting one. It's not something I navigate towards when I'm feeling like overstimulation, dysregulated. I just need something to calm me down. That's not my go-to. But yeah, there are people who suffer from ARFID. And if you don't know what ARFID is, it is basically like living with almost like an intolerance to taste and texture and smells of types of foods. And you're really limited on what your mind will allow yourself to put in your body. I don't have ARFID, but I have people in my life that suffer from ARFID, and it's really debilitating. So my heart goes out to you if this is your journey. I am grateful that I can experience lots of tastes, textures, and smells within my mouth, and it's, like I say, sometimes eating can be really regulating for me, so something that's hard and crispy is like very soothing. So next one that I'm going to talk about is what is a safe person? So, little people, humans, children, we talk about being safe people for these little guys in life. And who's a safe person for a little person? A police officer, a doctor, a teacher, a parent, usually. And as an adult, the same needs to be considered. Like, who's a safe person for me? Who's a safe person for you? I look at my life and I don't have a huge amount of safe people. Like, I have lots of people in my life who I consider I love and who love me. But my safe people, yeah, I could definitely count on one hand. My safest person is thankfully my husband. And the reason that I consider him a safe person is because his ability to be unwithering, his temperament, his understanding, it is very safe. It doesn't change. He doesn't kind of flip moods a lot of the time, which is very discomforting because you don't really know who you're addressing when someone has different emotions going on all the time. But when someone is consistent with how they treat you and how they make you feel, that then becomes quite a safe thing about someone. I've written, a safe person is someone who's shown a consistent level of love towards the autistic person and how they treat them doesn't fluctuate. A person who doesn't put too many demands on you and makes you feel like you have to tick a certain criteria checklist. A person who can take control in a public or social setting and will let an autistic person feel invisible while they try to assess their environment and surroundings. It's someone they can talk things over with and without feeling judged or misunderstood. Someone who is a good sounding board and will help an autistic person prepare for an event or situation? I feel like in a social situation, a safe person won't talk over an autistic person. They will give them the time and space that they need to speak, to be involved in conversation. They will try to help engage them in a social conversation, and then support them in ways that you would kind of support any friend, really. If you had a friend in a challenging situation, you would help them. So a safe person is kind of just someone who does that for an autistic person, allows them to feel safe regardless of what is going on around them. For an instance, I was going on holiday and with my husband. And there was, when we were checking out of our hotel, there was a period we were still allowed to stay at the resort, but not in our hotel room because we checked out. But we were still allowed to use the facilities because our flight home wasn't for like many hours later. So the hotel room had been my safe place during that stay. And then suddenly I didn't have my safe place, but I still had my safe person. I felt dysregulated. I felt like I was in the middle of transition and I couldn't quite grasp what to do. And it was really uncomfortable because although I was enjoying my day, I was just heightened. I felt dysregulated. I felt uncomfortable. I felt antsy and tight. But because he was with me, I could cope. I was able to speak it out with him, and he was able to reassure me that he had got me. I was safe with him. And it wasn't in a belittling or contradicting or, childish manner. It was just he loved me and he could see that I felt insecure. And having him with me really grounded me. So I just encourage autistic people to consider who they have in their life, who they're investing in, where they're spending their time and how they feel safe, and what they're putting into their bodies. Because although it doesn't necessarily affect every autistic person, I do think that there is an element of some kind of food that we navigate towards and desire when we're feeling heightened, when we're feeling just not in control. And I just say, know this about yourself, figure out who you are and where you are and who you want to be with, and just use those things as tools to help us get through each day. I feel like I'm babbling, but for me, it's really important to have safe people, safe places, and safe foods in my life. But I think my point is, you can be in a situation that is safe, where there is no danger coming to you, but you can still feel unsafe. So just because you are in a safe environment doesn't automatically transfer to feeling safe. When I was at my hotel, I was safe. I was in a really safe environment. No one was going to cause me any harm. Yet I felt unsafe as soon as I left and checked out. I couldn't make sense of that because it wasn't logical. But having my safe person grounded me enough to make me feel safe with him when I was going through that transition of checking out but not quite leaving the hotel. Yeah, so I don't know if I've made any sense with what I've said, but I know that the idea of being safe is something that we can all relate to. And I just wanted to communicate that just because we are safe doesn't make us feel safe. And as an autistic person, it's so important that we feel safe. So we need to just put things in place that make us feel safe. I hope that you can look at your own life and assess what you need to add in to just make yourself feel more comfortable in this world. Thank you for listening and being with me. And again, I just want to say I haven't done a video in a while, and it's just going to be the way it is now. I will do a video when I can, and I just really appreciate anyone who watches my videos. Thank you so much, and please write a comment to tell me how you're doing and how I can support you. Have a good day. Thanks very much.